Great. So I mentioned that there were a couple of instances where the Decisionate can be used within the context of an organization. One of our clients has a process, an internal company process, which is called a deep dive. We have another customer which terms this a root cause analysis, and another customer which will call it due diligence. In all of these different situations, a person or a department is tasked with creating a presentation and documentation that goes into a particular problem and a particular piece of, idea that is up for review, and essentially bringing this presentation material to the board of executives, to a decision-making committee, and basically saying, here's the problem, this is what we need to do. Yeah. Now, in all three of the clients that I'm thinking about, they have documentation proposals for the way that this information should be presented. And in all three cases, the documentation doesn't have an idea behind it. In one company, it's like, it's basically copy paste from due diligence. If you put due diligence process into Google, they've used that as their criteria. In another company, they've actually got sales topics or sales methodologies behind that. For example, what is the customer benefit? What is the potential return on investment? What's a value statement behind it? What's the product look like? What's the customer's opinion, etc.? Which means the methodology that they're using for it comes from a sales background. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I am saying is that there isn't a logic behind the process. And I believe that that's what the Decisionate provides to an organization, provides a very clear request to the listeners. We're doing this work so that we can make a decision of, do we want to change and move forward or not?
Tim, I have a question. So, every organization is very good at spotting issues or challenges or problems. But when it comes to follow up and implementing change processes or changing something fundamentally not working within the organization, I don't see so much action around that. Do you have any experience? Have you seen any tools that organizations use to make sure they do follow up, they do implement change?
I think, one of the problems that you're addressing is that a lot of people decide not to move change forward with a lot of very good reasons. Yeah. If I open up this can of worms, bad things could happen. And that's a very clear reality of something like the Decisionate problem-solving process, change management process. You're putting bad news onto the table, and you may not be popular as a result of doing this. Alternatively, we could argue the opposite would happen. Yeah. The fact that you are picking it up and moving it forward means that good things could happen. Not only the change, but your visibility is taking apart this topic on your own hands.
You could get fired. You could get promoted.
Yeah.
But at the very least, you could get a clear picture of the company's commitment to change and putting people at the center of the organization. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would go as far as to say that, if you're in a leadership position, whatever leadership position that is, so if you have authority, even implied authority over people, so you're a direct lead or a lateral lead, you're given the stamp of leadership within the organization, it's your job to think of a change that you want to move forward, and because nobody else is going to do it. Yeah. So it's nobody else's job. Leadership has got the responsibility and the duty to identify change topics and then move them forward. But of course, is a battle worth fighting? Yeah. When you're looking at a particular topic, if it's not worth fighting, then it's going to be very difficult for even the most seasoned leader to pick something up where they're saying my chances of success are extremely low. So maybe we could say that every leader should have at least one topic in the back of their mind that they're moving forward for their own sense of, ethics and positioning within their leadership role within their company.
I think maybe also, having the humility to think that you haven't thought this through, or you don't have all the information you need, so you may be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And then creating a level of data and documentation that gives people the opportunity to show you how you're wrong and where your thinking has not been going in the right way. And that leads us on to the other situation within many companies, which is where a focus group and a target group is established in order to focus on a particular topic, which means the company creates a team, a target, a task force, a work group, a value creation team, for example. And this team is tasked with doing the same, focusing on a particular topic and moving a topic forward, which means you have a group of people and their job role has changed to a certain extent because they've been given time to focus on this topic. And I see the Decision 8 or something similar as being a fundamental preparation tool for this particular process to align the people around it and to make sure that they're all very, very clear as to what the goals of that particular task force or work group is. Great. Mike, short summary?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had two key points there. The first was that every company will have some mechanism for making a decision or dealing with a problem. This may be described as a deep dive. It may be a root cause analysis. It could be a due diligence process. What's very fundamental, though, is that many of these processes do not have a strong logical structural basis. So they may be created based off of sales techniques. They may be created based off of due diligence, but they don't align people along that process of moving from where we are to our future vision. So the Decision 8 model presents a very clear, very logical structure to going through that process. This leads us into the people that actually take us through that process. So we're talking about, value creation teams, focus groups, task forces. Again, there may be many different terms for a similar functioning team. This is a team of people who've been brought together with the goal of taking this problem and exploring if a change is necessary, and if so, how that can be implemented. Therefore, the Decision 8 model can be fundamental to aligning this group, getting them to understand the process and going through things in that logical, structured way.
Great. Thanks very much. So not easy by any standards at all, not an easy process to engage in, certainly not an easy process to drag people along with you on that, but at least you have a plan and you're prepared for moving a topic like that forward.